Have you ever noticed your WYZE vacuum cleaner not really picking up like hair and stuff like that? Try this. When the next time you run your vacuum cleaner, feel out the back and see if it's blowing out of the back really hard. If it's not blowing out really hard on full suction, then here's how you fix it. First, don't have to do anything on the top here. Flip it over. Alright, you've got like screws. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws right here you have to take out. Then you have to take out these little screws right there. And then, so right here, you got to take off these little screws right here for the bumper. There's like screws around here. So let's get to it. Those are longer screws there. Alright, when you have that off, this just pops off. Easy. Set it aside. Then kind of raise this up a little bit, and this whole piece right here will pop off on top. Just set it aside. Something else you need to do is take off this right here for your brush, take out your roller, and I would suggest taking this panel off right here and getting the battery out of that and disconnecting the battery while you'll do this. So there's like 4 screws right here you got to take loose. Right here. And these screws are different than the other screws. So they're all different. Yeah, something else you probably need to do too. I'm going to flip this over, and so we're going to dump out a bunch of screws now. Let's take out the, and I did it the wrong direction. I'll take out this guy. Don't need that in there. Alright, looks like we got out a few screws here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think there may be one more that didn't pop out on me. Yeah, that one didn't come out. And this is not magnetic, and it would help if you had a magnetic. Come on. That one doesn't want to pop out. Okay. Well, we'll get to that in here in a second. Alright, let's get that screw. Missed this one. Take off that cover. And now you got your battery right here. Pull out your battery, and there's just a little connector down there. You just got to push the little tab and pop it out. So there's a little tab right there you got to push out. That's all you do for that. Alright, so that's what it looks like down in there. Turn on the light, that'll help. You can see things. There we go. Okay, now take this brush off, just pull it straight out. Sometimes you'll get a bunch of hair around there, like that. Just gotta clean these items. This thing, sometimes that won't spin real good. It'll get clogged up with hair, so you need to, work on that. Pull that thing straight out, and there'll be hair sometimes stuck in there. There's a little bit right there. And sometimes it'll get like clogged up down in there too. So just clean that real good. And sometimes the wheel, you'll get hair inside the wheel, and you want to clean out that. Make sure that rolls real good as well. Alright, now once you've got all that done, you don't have to take anything off on the top. What you could do is start separating it right in here somewhere and pull it apart. And it'll start popping apart. like so. Okay. Flip it over. Alright, so you got it apart like that. You don't even have to unhook this if you want to. You can take this out. Now there's hair here and hair there. So let's go ahead and unhook this from there. That's your LiDAR sensor and your motor advisor. We'll set that guy right there. And you'll also see that there is like hair up in here and stuff. It's kind of all over the place. Now I can see also that I got something right there that doesn't belong there. It doesn't look like, I'm not sure, that's a seal or something that maybe came loose from maybe on the inside of this, possibly. I don't know. But the problem here is this little guy right here, it gets stopped up right there. So what we're going to do here is we are going to, now normally these are stuck down in here. I had this apart earlier. I don't know how long ago, months. And I didn't push those back in there, so that's what happened there. But let's take off these screws right here, and then we'll pull this off, and there will be a bunch of hair stuck right there where it blows out of this air vent. And that's your little speaker where she talks. You wanted to know. So let's take off these two screws right here. That one. And that one. Set those dudes aside. Alright, and we got that other screw finally came out on us. Alright, so pop this off right here, just raise it up, pop it out, and look at that. Look at all that hair right there. Stuck right in there where that exit part goes out, and it comes out this vent right here. So that will keep your suction from working really well. It's really dense actually right there, all that hair. That's from my cats and just, you know, stuff. So just make sure this is all clean and clear. It looks good. Seal looks good. You don't have a bunch of hair down in there. Don't see any hair down in there. Alright. Because what happens is that you got your filter right here. And all the air comes up through here and goes right through this and then blows up through this thing out. So, we just repeat the process now. There's a little bit of seal right there that looks like it's acting a little, oh no, that's actually how that seal is supposed to be. Okay. Alright, so we'll push that back in there. Make sure that all these wires, hang on, let's back up. Let's get these wires out of the way first. Push it back in there. There we go. Alright, line up the screws. Make sure your wires are still okay. These wires were actually tucked underneath and pushed down in there. Alright. And we just reverse the process. Oops. Oh, good night. Let me get my hands to work. Just make sure they're kind of snug. There. All right. I'll just blow it out. Okay. Looks good. Take this. Take your connector. Plug your connector back in. Make sure it's seated in real well. So it's nice down in there, snug down in there, and just reverse this process. We're going to push that down in there a little bit and kind of try to snap that in. And then snap it back all together. And it looks like it's already all snapped back together. Flip it over. So as you can tell, you don't have to take apart the upper part, take out the LiDAR and all that other stuff up apart on the upper side. So it's really not too difficult to do this. All right, let's reverse the process here. Let's get the battery. No, we'll put the battery in last and plug it in the last thing. All right, let's get the big screws on. And usually if you don't have a magnetic bit like I don't, it'll just drop down in there, but usually it seats down in there. And just kind of snug those tight. You don't want to over tighten them, strip the screws out, of course. That would not be a good thing to do. There we go. So now, next time you turn this thing on, it'll have really good suction out of there, and it'll probably pick up a lot of stuff that maybe it was missing beforehand. All right. Okay, so let's do these little itty bitty screws. The little itty bitty guys go right there. And those will strip out if you don't be careful. I'm actually not sure what those hold. They're really super duper small. Okay. Alright. Now, let's put on this front. I'll flip this thing around so you can see this here. So take this. You gotta make sure that's all properly put in there. Close. I don't think the lid has to be closed there, but put that on. Okay. Make sure it's kind of lined up on both sides. You'll see where these screws kind of line up with those indentions right there. Don't have it quite right. Close. Yeah, it kind of depends on the height out. Alright. Put that ring on. And it'll kind of seat down in there. And put those screws back in. So I'll start this again. A little bit tight. Alright, make sure it works right. Put it over and make sure it properly works, doesn't want to fall off. Okay, good to go there. We can flip this back up. You know, make sure this is nice and clean. Seals look really good here. I think the seal down here could be a little bit better. Put this in, now that needs to be emptied. As you can see, I got some junk in there. I got 2 cats, so that's kind of what happens there. Alright. So I emptied that guy out. And drop that in there. Close it. Let's flip it over. And then we take the battery. And maybe I can flip it up here. I don't know if you can see that. And there's a little connector right there. Of course, I'm trying to do it so the camera can see it, and that's not easy to do. Oh goodness. Okay, you get the idea. I'm gonna have to set it down. All right, I got it plugged in. So you plug it in like that. Well, great. I flipped it over and everything came out. Staying. All right. Just make sure the wires are out of the way when you put your battery back in. Kind of just push them down in there, like that. Everything looks good. Put that on. Close that down. Make sure it just fits down in there right. You shouldn't have to like force it down in there. If you do, something's wrong. Wires are in the way. Something like that. Put these little screws back in. And if these screws aren't in all the way either, this cover won't fit down right properly. Alright, actually I do not know what this was. Maybe it picked it up in the vacuum process somewhere. I'm not sure where that goes. But should work. Just snap that sucker back on. Your brush, usually I clean this really well. There's a lot of hair that gets, you know, jammed in around like the sides, kind of nasty stuff, you know, but you got to clean that stuff out of there. You don't want all that in there. Eventually it just kind of gums it up, keeps the roller from working properly. So once you clean all this, you know, up, get your, you know, all the hair and whatnot off of this actually will pop off right there, and a lot of times hair will get like jammed inside of this and make the roller not want to turn right there. And you can also put a little lubricant on there as well to make sure that thing spins real good. Well, just, you know how that goes. Plug that back in, push it down, turn that around, snip that down in there, push that in so it fits well. Looks like it fits good. The hair off. All right, looks like we are ready to roll. So we'll set this thing down. Whoops, actually, right in. Gotta put the roller back on. Little front knob, snap that down in. Now we're ready to roll. All right, put that down in there. Got that little dirty. All right, let's set her down on the floor here. Turn it on. Come on, shouldn't be dead. Maybe I should hold it longer. There it goes. Come on, turn on.
Turning on.
There we are. Alright, I'm going to push the button, just let it start vacuuming. I think it'll do that. Try again.
Starting cleaning.
There. Alright. Kind of determines where it is. It's going to scan real quick around. So, I'll be able to see the laser. The LiDAR if you put that like that. And then when it starts suctioning here in just a second, feel out the back right there. Let's see. Yeah, well, it's really blowing out some air. Really blowing out some air. Now it sounds a little weird, so that's like maybe the roller is not rolling right, but it's really suctioning. So I think we're pretty good to go. Alright, that's how you clean and make sure it has good suction. It's really blowing up through it. Alright guys.